Good evening, everyone. I do apologize if you were just there. I had a little problem there, but we are back. And I am back with another memory from my past 66 years of this road of life. And like the old young people say, life be life, and right. And so, yes, I have experienced a lot of different things, but I give God the praise for giving me the idea to come on every day. It's been a blessing, and I have definitely learned a lot about me. I have been so grateful when I look back and realize that God has really brought me out of a whole lot of things. And not that I didn't give him praise then, but now that I'm older, I understand the magnitude of those things and I can draw lessons from them, even deeper lessons of what he was trying to tell me. So if this is your first time here, I want you to tag someone, tag a family member, tag a friend, tag a church member, tag another cycle breaker, and let them know that Pastor C is live with another memory from the 66 days of her life. So as you come in, I want you to know that we are on day 64 of 27 days of fire, the road to 67. And I have 3 more days until my birthday. And like I told you earlier, I don't take this lightly. What I've been sharing with you over these days are not just stories. I mean, they're moments and real experiences that carried real fire. And that fire revealed something to me then, and it really reveals even more to me now. I mean, these were moments that shaped me and stretched me and corrected me. And really, God taught me how to walk with Him. I mean, for real. And if you've been following along, you already know that I'm not just looking back to remember, I'm really pulling lessons of my past forward so that I can recognize and you can recognize God in your now and not miss him in your next, because everything we go through, it has purpose. And Jeremiah 29:11 says, I know the thoughts that I think toward you, saith the Lord. They are thoughts of peace and not of evil that will bring you to an expected end. And if we don't process it, we will repeat it. Don't process those cycles, we'll keep repeating them over and over again. So I am here, like I said, to share with you memory number 24. And this memory takes me back at a time when I attended Powerhouse of Deliverance in Morgantown, West Virginia, under the leadership of, at the time, Pastor William L. Washington, who is now Bishop William L. Washington. And this was the college that I rededicated my life back to him after I read my first chapter of Ouch, Overcoming Undeniable Church Hurt, and you will know what I'm talking about. But I went through a great, 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 great season of confusion spiritually. And when I came out of that season, this is the church that God led me to. And this is where my foundation was laid in Christ. This is where I learned who God was for real in my life personally. And I stayed there until I got married and moved to Greensboro, North Carolina. My husband, right? Bishop Jeff Phifer. But I have to be honest with you, because after giving my life to Christ, I went through one of the toughest seasons of my life. I don't know how to explain it, but just to be real, being single was one of the toughest seasons of my life. Before I got saved, I was dating, I was in relationships, I had some bad situations that happened. And but anyway, when I gave my life to Christ, I was looking for companionship. And you would think that being saved would make everything easier, right? But for me, everything that I had been through in my childhood, the abandonment, the rejection, the fear, the intimidation. I mean, those things didn't disappear. In fact, when I gave my life to Christ, it seemed like they got louder. It's like the enemy really used those things to try to distract me, to pull me out of focus. So, because, now that I was born again, I was more aware. And when you're aware, you feel differently. And in that season, I wanted companionship. I was rejected in relationships. I felt intimidated by some people, and I just wanted companionship. I wanted love. I wanted what I saw other people having and what they were experiencing. So my prayers back then sounded like, Lord, when is it going to be my time? I mean, I would go on casual dates, and don't y'all laugh at me now. I laugh at myself though. And I'd still be praying, Lord, is that him? I mean, it's just somebody you just hanging out with to get a hamburger, right? Invited you, you saw him in class, they invite you to go get a hamburger or something, and you thinking, Lord, is this him? I didn't want to miss him, right? At conferences, where I should have been locked into the move of God, my eyes were scanning the room, right? Looking for eligible men. I don't want to look like I was like on a hunt or nothing, but I didn't want to miss him. If he showed up, I didn't want to miss him. And I remember going to class one day, watching couples holding hands, laughing and talking. And there again, I asked the Lord, Lord, when is it going to be my time? And I would always ask him. In fact, my prayers were consumed by that. And one of our mentors told us, if whatever you pray about all the time, that's your God. If you're not praying to God, but you're praying about something, you want money, you want a job, and that's every time you hit your knees, that's what you're praying about. That's your God. Well, the idea of having a husband, that was my God, right? And so I was focused on it. And then one day, I walked into class and I sat down casually, same class, same students, same people, right? And in walks a student who registered late for the class, right? I mean, he was kind of cute. And I noticed he was really, really polite. And so I kind of locked in on him and he locked in on me. And before long, we started what they call talking, right? And then we started, walking, taking walks together. That led to spending time together. I mean, everything I had been watching other couples do, on campus, just hanging out, whatever. I was excited because I was now experiencing that. And you know what? I was praying, right? Lord, is this the one? Right? And the Lord did not give me an answer. He was totally quiet. And I remember one day we were at the laundromat and he started asking me questions about the Bible. So I turned to the passage about Philip and the Ethiopian eunuch. I don't know what made me turn there, but I did. And explaining how the eunuch was reading the word of God, but didn't understand it. And how Philip was sent to explain, to bring clarity, to point him to Christ, right? I was really getting into that. And how that after the assignment, the Spirit took Philip away. And right there, when I said that, I heard the Lord say, witness to him and get out of this situation. Just as bold as somebody at the other washing machine hollered across at me, right? Witness to him and get out of this situation. Well, I have to tell you, I ignored it because I was zeroing in on the boyfriend that would lead to my him, right? So, we went on with our relationship and I invited him to Bible study. And this night, the Bible study was at one of the older saints' homes. And when we got there late. And so there were no chairs left. So we sat on the floor with some of the other college students, up against the wall. And I was so proud to introduce him as my friend, hoping that the word boy would be added to friend soon, boyfriend, right? So as the lesson was going on and the minister was ministering, I noticed that people kept turning around and looking at me, whispering. This is also in my book, Ouch, Overcoming Undeniable Church Hurt, right? But anyway, they were whispering. And I thought, what in the world is going on? I was trying to figure it out. And I turned around and looked at him. And behind us, there had been a large doll that was sitting, to the right of him. And I guess when he sat down, he knocked the doll over. And let me tell you, this man was sitting there rubbing that doll in places he had no business touching. I was extremely embarrassed. And I reached around very forcefully and moved that doll out of his reach. But you know what? It was already seen. And by the time I got home from Bible study and got settled, the older saints, the mentors, were calling me. Who is he? Where is he from? Where did he come from? Is he saved? How long have you known him? What's his background? I mean, and then came the warnings. But you know what? I wasn't trying to hear all that because I wanted it to be him. Well, here we are at revival. Revival was at our church, and we were so excited. The church was excited. But I have to be honest, because of this relationship, I had gotten a little off. I was still saved, I was still living right, but my focus was on him being my Mr. Right. So when we got in church, he wanted to sit in the back of the church, because, and he was kind of awkward that night. It was something about him. He was just off, right? And mind you, this was not my seat. I always sat the second row from the front, always, right? But because I invited him to church, I used it as an excuse to go ahead and sit there. Plus, I was feeling a little bad because I hadn't been at the regular services like I was supposed to be. So I adjusted. But that service, let me tell you, it was powerful. I mean, people were getting delivered. The presence of God had just fallen in that place like you wouldn't believe. And our bishop, Washington, at the time, Bishop W.L. Washington, he stopped and he looked out and he looked at me and he said, "Why are you sitting in the back of the church?" And then he turned to the young man very discerningly. He said, "Young man, can I pray for you?" And let me tell you, you're not going to believe this. That dude jumped up and shouted, "No way!" And he ran out the church like a crowd of people were running after him, like he was being chased, ran out of there so fast. I was, again, very embarrassed. I couldn't believe what I saw. I know my mouth had been hanging open, eyes wide open, like, what in the world is going on? But let me tell you something. I never saw that guy again. Not at my house, didn't call my phone, not at the laundromat, not on campus, not even in class. Poof, he was gone. And here is the fire in that moment. This is what the fire revealed to me. Every opportunity that you're confronted with, it's not always the divine orchestration by God. I mean, every connection that you make is not a divine assignment from God. And every person that comes in your life is not your promise. I mean, some people are, it's going to sound bad, some people are decoys sent to distract you, to delay you, and disconnect you from God's will. And hear me, when you are desperate, you will entertain what you should be rejecting. The enemy will send what looks right. I mean, he's followed you all your life, so he knows your type. He knows, the character to send you. He knows how he should dress or she should dress, right? I mean, he's followed you. He's watched you, and even I'm talking about just casual relationships, like a friends. Every friend that you have is not meant to be your friend. I mean, like if I meet a young lady, and we just want to hang out, go shopping, whatever, that doesn't mean that that is my friend, right? Some people are decoys sent in your life to pull you out of what is right, but God will interrupt it. So let me talk to you, singles, you young adults, college students, those believing God for a spouse. Listen, take it from me. You don't have to chase your future. You know, you don't have to force a relationship, and you don't have to lower your discernment to feel desired. If God didn't answer you, guess what? That was your answer. If God didn't tell you yes, that was your answer. Whatever that silence is, I ain't gonna say nothing. It's like your mama correcting you, and they don't say nothing. You look in their face and you know exactly what they're saying, right? And if God warned you, I'm telling you, don't ignore it, because the will of God will never require you to step outside of his presence to fulfill it. After that moment, let me tell you, after that experience with that dude, I locked in, y'all. I locked into God like you wouldn't believe. My prayer changed from "Lord, when will he come?" to "Lord, deepen my walk with you." With everything in me, I'm telling you, it all changed. I got so a certain point in my singlehood where I was like, I don't even, if I don't ever get married, it's okay, God. I got to that place. That's really when my husband showed up. It's like once I locked into that spot, I even thought God was going to use me as a missionary overseas. I was at the library researching different areas, different places I could volunteer to be a missionary overseas. I mean, everything changed for me, sincerely, from my heart. God changed me from the inside out. So let me ask you today, where in your life have you been entertaining a decoy? And what has God already warned you about that you're still trying to make work? And what are you willing to release so you can fully walk in the will of God? So if you ever had to let go of something you thought was right to stay aligned, excuse me, to stay aligned with God, then I want you to drop some fire in the comments tonight, because the fire will reveal this too. What God has for you will not run from his presence. Take it from me. He was not for me, right? Running from God like that. Oh my gosh, it was crazy. I wish I had a video of it. You just wouldn't believe it. And I'm going to say it again. What God has for you will not run from his presence. So before I close, I do want to take a moment to honor those who have been like a spiritual covering and family in my life. I do want to say a special thank you to Bishop W.L. Washington and Mother Alice Washington in her passing. We thank God for her. But Bishop Washington, thank you so much for being strict, being hard, being that disciplinarian. I mean, really being on me like you wouldn't believe, because I was really rough. Behind the ears, I really was. To Minister Marilyn Scott, I don't know her married name now, but Minister Marilyn, Dave and Leona Jones, Pastor Junius Lewis, Mother Rena Pannell, Mother McClurkin. Oh my gosh. My spiritual sons and daughters, I just give God the praise for allowing me to be converted so I could reach you with my testimony. Truth Deliverance Church. I just love my church, my ministry, the members, the ministers, the leaders. Thank you all so much for your support. And I can't forget my college friend, Laura. She was awesome. And of course, my husband, not only as my spouse, but as my pastor, my covering. All right, spiritually. And you know what? There are so many others, because when God plants you somewhere, he surrounds you with people that are part of your growth. And I thank God for each and every one of you. So this is day 24 of the 27 days of fire, the road to 67. And I will see you tomorrow for day 25. So stay aligned and do not be distracted. Do not let that decoy take your promise. This is Pastor C, your breakthrough transformational coach. And it's a joy being on this road of memories. And it's an equally a joy to share them with you. You all take care. God bless. And I'll see you tomorrow.